Milo Manx here from IrishManxForSale.com. Today we're going to show you how to install headlights on your dune buggy. We're going to install them so that they sit straight up and down and don't crack the fiberglass mounting pedestal that they sit on. This is a headlight housing that you can buy from any one of the suppliers that are out there. It's a great housing, except for the fact it's made for a 1932 Ford. It wasn't designed for a dune buggy. The mounting pedestal is all wrong. But let me show you how you can fix that. This is your headlight mounting pedestal. This is the mounting base from the headlight. It sits right on top of there. And if you notice, you cannot make it flat. The inside portion is going to be up against the paint, scratching it. That's no good. You want to go to your local hardware store and get some PVC pipe. 1 inch, schedule 40. Schedule 40 is the thicker stuff. And you want to cut this in 3/4 inch sections. Cut 3 of them, maybe 4. The way I cut this is I put it in my vise and cut it with a hacksaw. Now when you cut PVC with a hacksaw, it leaves rough edges around it. Just take some 80 grit sandpaper and sand all that off. So it's nice and smooth on the outside edge. I cut those 3 pieces, and as you can see, I didn't cut them very straight. They're on an angle, but that's the way you want them. This is one of the pieces you just got done cutting. Sit on top of the pedestal. Take your headlight mounting base, sit on top of that, and because you cut it on an angle, you can spin this around until this sits perfectly flat. Once you're happy with where it is, pull this off. Put a little mark there so you know which end is front when you assemble it. Put in your headlight. Your headlight is straight up and down. The top of it is not leaning in. It makes for a real nice job. You cannot see the PVC pipe under here unless you get down on the ground and look at it, but nobody's going to do that. And it's not close enough to be scratching the paint. I've looked at old dune buggy pictures, and they originally had some type of cast aluminum piece that replaced this. I don't think they're around anymore. Take it. Cut. Take 7. Scene 4. This is going to be the last take. I don't care what anybody says. On a lot of dune buggies, you'll find this area cracked, broken, pieces missing, but you don't have to worry about it. This is how you fix it stronger than it ever was. The first thing you do Get a piece of masking tape, put it over the hole. Just like that. Do the other side the same way. Now that the body's upside down, you can see there's a lot of nasty stuff in here. You have to clean all that out and sand it a little bit. Then wipe it down with acetone. Because you want to have a good clean surface for the resin to bond to. Using 80 grit. All right, that's good. Let's tape it up. What I mean by tape it up is if you pour resin into here, it's going to run out down here. So use masking tape again to build like a barrier so the resin doesn't run out. Try to build this up so it's rounded like that is. All right, now we're ready for the fiberglass and resin. By the way, I took the tape off the bottom covering the hole because when I was cleaning this out, a lot of debris fell down in there on the tape. So I just took it off and now I'm going to put it back on. You can do it with the body upside down. It's just a lot easier to show you when the body's up. All right, let me show you what I'm doing to the fiberglass. So the first thing you do is get some CSM, fiberglass mat, and start cutting it up into little pieces. Don't make them too large, as long as they fit down in that hole. That's all you have to worry about. You don't have to be exact cutting circles or anything like that. Just cut it up. That should be enough to do both sides. If not, we can always cut up some more really quick, so no big deal. Alright. Alright, the next thing we're going to do is mix up some fiberglass resin. I use West System 105 epoxy resin. It's stronger than polyester resin. It's a little expensive, but you can use polyester resin. This just makes it a little bit stronger. This is easy to measure out, because if you go 1 pump of this, you put 1 pump of this with it, the resin and the hardener. We're going to do, there's 2, 3, let's go 4. 4 pumps of the hardener. Mix it up good. This is fast hardener, but it still takes 20 minutes before it starts to solidify. Okay, let's go back to the body. Okay, I'm ready to start filling it in. I have my CSM fiberglass cloth and the resin. First thing you want to do is take some of the resin, get in the hole like that. Put some of your fiberglass cloth in there. Like I said, you don't have to be fussy with the size of the pieces. Just make sure you wet down the cloth as it goes in there. You can build that back side up a little bit if you want to. Gives it more strength. Something like that. Like this. We don't want to be making a mess, do we? You can also do this with a small paintbrush, but if you do it with a stick, you don't have to clean it out later. You can just throw away the stick. When you do this, you make that mounting surface of the headlight 3, almost 4 times as thick as it was originally. All right, we're going to leave that dry overnight, and we'll see you tomorrow. Okay, here we are the next day. It's dry. We're going to remove the tape. Sand this a little bit. Knock off this rough edge. Forgot to turn the air on. Okay, now that the air is on, take off this rough edge. Something like that. I'm only sanding it right now so paint will stick to it when you paint the underside of the body. Like I said earlier, you want to have this as flat as you can because you got to put a washer in there. That feels pretty good. As you can see, this area right here is a lot thicker than it was originally. It's going to add a lot of strength to the headlight mounting pedestal. Alright, let's turn the body right side up. Next thing we're going to do is remove the tape. You can see where the hole was before. It's completely filled in now with fiberglass resin, so we have to drill it out. When you drill this, make sure you drill straight down. Don't angle it left or right or forward or back. Drill it straight as you possibly can. There's a little bit of adjustment in the headlight, so you don't have to be super exact, but be as straight as you can. Alright, let's drill it out. The best way to drill this out is to drill it from the front of the buggy so you can see if you're leaning in or leaning out. That way you go straight down. We're going to drill this to 1/2 inch. Okay, now it's drilled to 1/2 inch. Don't forget about the PVC spacers you made. A lot of times when I put these on, if this inside is higher than the outside, that's where you want it. That's just the rule of thumb. Put your cap on. here. This is the original bottom washer that they give you, but it's obviously way too big in diameter to fit under here. So you can just keep this as a memento. I got this washer, which is the same diameter as the PVC piece that you just cut. So when it gets bound together, it's not going to be cracking any fiberglass because it's the same size. It just simply pulls together. So we'll put this washer underneath, along with the lock and the nut. There it goes. Gotta make sure it's lined up. So that's how that goes. This might need a more of an angled spacer, but remember you already cut like 3 or 4 of them. Just gotta put a different one in there. Maybe this one, because it's not quite straight up and down yet. That one's angled more. There we go. That looks pretty good. Like I said before, you can't see the PVC spacer whatsoever unless you get down on the ground and look up at it. But it makes things right. This is Milo Manx. Later. Okay, the next thing to do is remove the tape. You can see where your cut. Take 2. All right, the next thing we're going to do is remove cut. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is cut.